Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of the Dormmates Show. I'm Nathan Mather here alongside Nicholas Calandrino, welcoming in special guest Hayden Souza. So first Hayden, thank you for being here and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore on the track and field team by way of Indianapolis, Indiana. Shout out to 317 and appreciate you guys having me on. Obviously, joined VTV a couple weeks ago. This has always been something that I wanted to do and be a part of. So the fact that I'm part of the first episode, this blossoms into something big. Looking back at it, it's going to be pretty fun. So look forward to it. Thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. So in high school, what type of sports were you playing? Obviously track was there. Was there anything else?
Yeah, obviously track. My first love was basketball, believe it or not. I'm not sure if a lot of people know that, but up until my junior year of high school, it was always all about basketball. I obviously grew up a huge Celtics fan. Indiana, obviously being a huge basketball state. And then after I stopped playing my junior year, I picked up football, which ended up being basically my love now. Football, watching football, playing. I've only played it for a year, but maybe one of the most fun years I've ever had in my life, and it was something really special. And then obviously track came along my junior year as well. But those three mainly in my life stay prominent.
Yeah, that's great. So talk to us a bit about high school sports, playing football, joining track late. How'd that really affect recruitment, and was football ever an option for you to play in high school?
Yeah, so for a really long time when my recruitment started, I actually wanted to pursue the double, doing both football and track. I actually wanted to look on walking on here, but my career was cut short due to too many concussions. Late in the season during playoffs, I had 2 concussions in 3 weeks, and it was not fun. But definitely looked into it, but that's really when I found out that, track would be, my pathway to getting into a really good school here like Villanova and being a part of a really good program.
What made you come to Villanova? Obviously, you had roots in the East Coast, but was it coaching? Was it the school in general, academics? What really made you want to come here?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. One of the things being I come from a small private school in Indianapolis. I wanted it to be a kind of similar feel. Obviously, Villanova isn't the smallest of private schools. It's not like the size of a Haverford or a smaller liberal arts school, but, it's a big enough school, really close to the East Coast, obviously. Being from Massachusetts, I'm originally from Massachusetts, my entire family lives out there. I really wanted to be close to them. So the fact that you have that location, and on top of getting A+ academics and being a part of one of the most prestigious sports in the history of programs in the history of track and field, really just a special opportunity for me. I just couldn't take it down.
That's awesome. So obviously with track and field, there's a bunch of different events. If you had to say what's your favorite and least favorite?
Well, I run the 400, but I'd be kind of remiss to say if that one's my favorite. Are we talking, am I watching sport? Am I watching it? Am I watching the sport, or is this something that I'm actively doing?
I would say you're running.
I'm running. I might actually say the 400. I'm pretty competitive, especially when it comes to race day. So 400 is a very competitive event. Not only are you going extremely fast, but there's also enough time for you to get back into a race if you fall back. I don't know if you ever watched the Paris Olympics and saw the Quincy Hall race. That was spectacular, seeing what he did. But honestly, yeah, I'll go with the 4. Least favorite that I run is the 8. There's only 2. I ran the 800 in high school. That would be the other one. If you plot me an event to have me run it, though, I'd say probably the 10K. That would be an absolutely brutal race for me to run. I know most 400 guys are pretty in shape, but 10K, I'm not sure if I'd be able to hold on for that long. Yeah. That'd be pretty tough.
Nick, you ever run a 400?
No.
No? Yeah, me neither. Any running in general for me, I'll be honest, sucks. I just despise it. I'm not trying to sell you out to your coach or anything, but are there any times when you go to practice, there's an event, and you're I just don't want to do this?
Yeah, no shame at all, because most of us feel the same way. And, I definitely enjoy running more than most people, but especially the days after a really hard workout where, your legs are sore, your body's extremely tired, you got to wake back up and do it all over again. And honestly, that happened to me yesterday. Being the 400 guys, we had our first time trial of the year. We had a 50-second run, basically all out competing with each other, see how far we can get around the track in 50 seconds. And today I've just been cooked. I've had a headache. My hamstrings are on fire. Definitely days where you don't want to do it, but sometimes you just got to get back up and do it. So, I really don't blame you, but I definitely like it more than most people. It's good to, especially the feeling of staying in shape and being with the team, the camaraderie aspect of it. Definitely something that I look forward to when running track.
Yeah, and with music, obviously that's a big part of everyone's lives, especially athletes. Is there a song that just gets you in the zone, or you have to listen to before a meet, before something to get you hyped, or really is it something to calm you down?
So Track is actually a little different for me than most sports. It's really a time period where I kind of like to just sit in my own head and like think, how am I going to execute this race? Kind of like settle the nerves. Because you think about it, like you're sitting there. I don't know if you've ever been to a track meet, but you're sitting there for 3 hours like before you race. That's a lot of time to really manifest what you want to do on the track, how you want to go out, execute, attack the race. So that's really a time where I want to just sit in my head and meditate and think to myself. But when I played football in high school, I was a huge music guy. And while it's not a song, every single time before every game, I'd put on Kanye West's Graduation album. Was always my go-to. Pump up, jam, got me in the groove.
It's a great pick. So moving back to football, you said you're from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Who's your team then?
Pats all day.
Wait, but you're from Indy.
I grew up in Indy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm from Massachusetts, so when I was young, my entire family lives out there.
Okay.
When I was young, I moved out to Indy. My mom was employed by USA Track and Field, which kind of unironic given the circumstance, but she was employed by USA Track and Field, and she was constantly commuting back and forth between Massachusetts and Indianapolis. And Indianapolis, obviously being also a lot cheaper of a place to live, it makes life a lot easier. So she could be around me while I was growing up. She constantly having to travel every other month, get out of the house and go to work. It was really stressful for her. And my dad, his parents had died at that time, so there was really nothing else for him. My brothers had graduated college, so just figured get a new start, a place where we can, have it easier, I guess, especially for my mother. So, but those Massachusetts roots have stayed strong with me. So, was never an option to be a Colts fan. never, never. Especially during the Brady Manning rivalry, never would have. I like the Pacers, but nah, don't get me started on the Colts. No chance.
Yeah, so I know the Colts have a better quarterback than the Patriots, Daniel Jones. No, as a former Giants fan, I'm not on the Daniel Jones train. I still don't believe it. But if you had to say top 5 quarterbacks right now, healthy, who is it?
Don't you ever disrespect Drake May like that ever in your life. I'm just kidding. Top 5. Are we saying like playing right now?
Right now.
Okay, say right now. Right now.
That definitely affects things. So, because I would say, you got the 3 cyborgs, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. I got to take Lamar out of there. Being hurt, Ravens starting 1-4, so I'm going to take him out of there. I got Allen number 1. I've been saying it since last year. He's defending MVP, even with the loss last week to my New England Patriots. I still got to put him number 1, even besides last week. The numbers he's putting up is ridiculous. And then number 2, it's hard for me to do, especially since his team's 2-3, but Pat Mahomes, I mean, you can't really include a list without him, just how good he is. He's been playing really well statistically. He made a few mistakes, especially, I don't know if you watched the game last night, that pick 6 to Devin Lloyd, that was definitely a killer. But, I mean, you can't exclude Mahomes. And then after that, I'm going to be real, the quarterbacks between 3 through 8, you can make an argument for any one of them. But if I had to choose, my MVP right now is the Bake Show. I'm taking Baker Mayfield number 3. I mean, the stuff you can take away Mike Evans, you can take away Chris Godwin for the first 5 weeks of the season, the numbers he's putting up, and I mean, Ibuka is obviously he's outperforming almost anybody right now. He's only been playing 5 games. He's a rookie, but I mean, Baker, in a year where everyone said that last year was his peak, that he would regress. I mean, he shut everyone up, man, and they're 4-1 heading into week 6. I mean, I got to give him a lot of credit. Number 4. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't know if my boy's back over and to watch this, but shout out my boy Verma. Dak Prescott is playing like a top 5 quarterback, and that's crazy for me to say. Same situation. Take away CeeDee Lamb in a year where, Brian Schottenheimer's taken over. Like, we're looking at the Cowboys like, this seems an absolute joke. Like, you never expect this from Dak Prescott, who's been regressing coming off of a season-ending injury. I got to give him a lot of props for that. Jake Ferguson's been showing up. Dak Prescott's been putting up big numbers. And then 5, I'm really torn, especially after the loss last week, but I'm going to go Matt Stafford. The fact that 39 years old, leading the league in passing, I got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I feel like right now in the NFL, you're right, like 3 through 8 can really, really be a toss-up. I think you have to rock with Josh Allen. You have to rock with Mahomes. Obviously, Lamar and Burrow's hurt. They would be there if they're healthy. One guy I do want to touch up on, I wouldn't say he's top 5, but Trevor Lawrence is just completely turning around in Jacksonville. Liam Cohn obviously started badly with the Duval chant, which was all over social media for how poor that was. But obviously just that game, falling twice on that play. Obviously Clemson, major prospect coming out. People thought he was a guarantee. I like to see that he's succeeding, so hopefully he gets in that conversation. One person I have to agree with is Dak. As a Giants fan, I hate saying Dak. With CeeDee Lamb out, it's tough. but like he just improves and improves. Obviously, that game against the Giants, Russell Wilson is kind of probably last good game in the NFL. But like that game was crazy going into overtime, like complete shootout in that game. And
he's doing against the Packers, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll say, like Packers defense is no slouch at all. You could argue top 3 in the league. So
And
I mean, like
there's
I
a
give him
good-
all the credit in the world. He's been playing great.
Yeah, there's a good former Cowboy on that Packers defense.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I would say Allen, Mayfield, Prescott, Mahomes, and I would say Stafford. Like obviously 39, doing what he's doing at that age. Obviously has a good receiving core with Puka Nakua.
Yeah.
Thankfully, got in like
Dog.
2 of my fantasy leagues at like 8, so I'm hyped with that.
Yeah.
And I would just say, I thought he was going to go to the Giants in the offseason. Like that was one of the rumors, obviously.
Stafford. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But I would say that is my top 5. What about you, Nathan?
Yeah. Are you happy about Jackson Dart before we?
I love Jackson Dart.
Oh yeah.
Brian Dable, I think is going to be out. Same with the GM Joe Shane, and I'll kind of get to that later with my with the next question of who I think the future Giants head coach is.
Okay. All right.
You guys have taken almost all of my names. I just want to mention, though, like, you didn't talk about Drake May nearly as much as I thought you would. He's been so good.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be the first guy to advocate for Drake May. Don't ever mix that up. It has only been 5 games, and I will say, I mean, I feel like he definitely shut a lot of people up because, like, we definitely have a cupcake schedule compared to the rest of the league, but going out, Bills had the number 1 pass defense last year and just absolutely made some huge plays. Like, you saw the sideline throw to Diggs.
Yes.
Also to Diggs, you saw the play with him stiff-arming Daquan Jones, throwing it while falling down. Like, 23 years old, second-year start, not even the second full season. Like, those are guts plays. Like, I give him a lot of credit for that. But I feel like, especially for a guy that young and who, although I attribute it most to the situation around him more so than him, but he hasn't had a lot of like winning success yet. Once we get into like weeks 7, 8, 9, he starts winning more games, and if he keeps it up, like then I'd definitely start pushing for it. But don't get me wrong, I'm definitely on the train. I think he's trending that direction.
Yeah, he could be up there. I'd say you got to go Allen, you got to go Holmes, you got to go Baker. I think Baker Mayfield is criminally underrated. I cannot believe the Eagles squeaked out a win in Tampa Bay because we never win in
That
Tampa
Jahad
Bay.
Campbell pick was clutch.
Yo,
if he
man.
didn't get that, that would have been.
Yeah, well, because they were coming back. I was like, this is going to happen again. We're going to go to Tampa Bay for the 18th year in Week 4 in a row and lose again.
Yeah.
But I mean, the rookie looks really good for us.
Yeah,
right now.
and also the Eagles are probably the only team in the league right now I'd say are comfortable with possibly winning when their quarterback doesn't have a single completion in the second half. Like I give them all the credit in the world for that, but again, a lot of credit to Baker. They're down like 3 touchdowns or something in the second half, and I mean like those 2 big shots to Buka and Bucky Irving, like he's a playmaker. Even without Mike Evans, like you can never count out the Big Show. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm just glad he resurrected his career, too. I mean, Cleveland, things look desolate. Then he goes to L.A., and then on one random Thursday night flips his entire career. He's been great. Yeah, so I got Allen, I got Mahomes, I got Baker. I still think Justin Herbert's good. I know the last 2 weeks were not great, but he's still a very good quarterback, and he's making Quentin Johnston that top 10 fantasy receiver in the league right now. I benched him in the 1 week I started, and he dropped 6 points for me. So I'm slightly bitter about that, but that's a different discussion. And then 5, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. But Dak Prescott has been really good. And it hurts to say, but he's been quality.
If you had asked me last week or 2 weeks ago, Justin Herbert would have maybe been number 3 for me. But I mean, just taking 2 losses, especially to the Giants. No disrespect. No disrespect, but I mean, like, that's not a great look for a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. What is one hot take then you have, just across the league? Doesn't have to be Patriots related, anywhere.
Okay. Again, they call them hot takes for a reason. This is piping hot, maybe. But by the end of the season, I think that it will be relatively consensus. Drake May is a better quarterback than Jaden Daniels. Straight up. I don't expect everyone to be on that train. I get it. Jaden had a remarkable rookie season, but I'm talking what I'm seeing, right, and barring injury, of course. I know Jaden's also had his fair share of injuries, but right now, I'm telling you, I think it's happening.
I respect the
I'm
belief
biased,
in your guy.
but
I respect the belief in your guy. I don't know. I would pump the brakes, but again, it's a hot take. For me, I would say we mentioned Baker Mayfield a lot. I think Emeka Egbuka's top 5 in the league as a receiver when the season's all said and done. I think he's clearly offensive rookie of the year right now, unless he
definitely
tears his ACL or something very unfortunate happens. But he's so nice. What would you say, Nick?
So I know we touched on the Ravens earlier. Obviously 1-4. My hot take is that John Harbaugh is out after this year.
I agree with
So
that.
I think he might want to change. Obviously he's been there for forever, and I could see him going to the Giants. I know like maybe he wants to play Super Bowl against his brother, be the coaches, because obviously we know the Giants are getting to the Super Bowl soon with Jackson Dart. But I really just think that he's going to want a culture change. The Giants, even though they haven't been great recently, coaching in New York is still going to be at the top of people's bucket list. They have a better salary cap. They have draft picks. They have a really young, talented core. I think that could be a place where he really looks to go if he does decide to leave. But I could see him leaving.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's also going to depend on how Jackson Dart looks this year. If they believe they have the quarterback of the future, especially looking at the Pats last year firing Mayo, I mean, going out and getting Vrabel for the culture change was really the right move for us. Looking at how inexperienced Gerard Mayo was, I think everyone knew he wasn't prepared to be able to take over a head coaching role. So I think that change, especially John Harbaugh, I see him like similar to being a Mike Vrabel type of guy. If you can get John Harbaugh on the Giants, you could turn that into an 8-win team.
Yeah.
If Jackson Dart can blossom and develop into what especially Giants fans think he could be, I think that could be a really good acquisition for him.
Yeah, obviously we had the roommate show, which is a big inspiration of this. What would you say, obviously, what was your thoughts on that? And wearing the Taco Fall jersey, getting called out, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, so for the viewers who may be watching this, yes, I was the guy in the Celtics jersey at the roommates podcast. That was me. I might as well just get into the story of that real quick. So, yeah, obviously, I talked with Nate with it in class earlier. I was trying to get a floor seat, Jalen and Josh. I'll get into it later, but those are two guys that I've loved since I've been growing up watching basketball. But I didn't, especially after I didn't get the floor seat, I didn't expect to get anywhere near. But I showed up early, and they were redirecting seating, and there's this corner down stands. I'm like, no way, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I have my Taco Fall jersey on. I didn't bring my Villanova basketball jersey from home, so I'm just like, what am I doing here? And I was so nervous. I was texting you before the show started. I'm like, dude, I'm front row, behind the stage with Celtics jersey on. It's gonna go terribly wrong. And then fast forward to the show. You know where I was at. So where I was sitting, the spotlight was flashing right in my face. It was really bright, uncomfortable to look at. It was really hard to view. And so they're introducing Jalen and Josh and those guys. And so they get Josh on, they get Matty Ice on. Then so Jalen starts walking on, and they're playing Superstar or whatever, and he gets on the stage, and I see him pause. I just all I can see is his silhouette. I'm just oh, he's looking at me. And I see him point for a second. I'm oh, he's definitely looking at me. And so they start, obviously, they give me the chirp, and I'll tell you what, that turned into one of the underrated, one of the most fun nights of my life. And so I'll get into it. Obviously I'm a Celtics fan. I've never been a Knicks fan at all. I hate the Knicks for all I know. But growing up in Indianapolis, so the area that I grew up in, I live 3 blocks from Butler University. So obviously conference rival of ours. So our family has really good ties with the previous athletic director, Mark Jackson, before Rodell took over. Really good family ties. And so whenever Nova would come out here, Mark would hook us up with sideline, courtside seats, basically right behind the Villanova bench. So I would grow up especially during the championship days, I was there for when we came in number 2 in the country to Butler, they upset us. I remember the year before that, it was a 2-point game, something like that, really contentious, it was crazy. But being able to watch those guys growing up and interact with them, obviously they have no idea who I am, but just being able to do that, it's really, really cool. So that'll be something I'll never forget.
Well, it's perfect, because I remember I had floor seats, and so I got there as soon as the gates opened, because Nick and I, we went together. We were trying to get as close as humanly possible. And so we were pretty much on the front row of the floor, which is I'd say probably the near baseline of the student section. And I look over, and it's you, and you go, look what I'm wearing, and you just unzip your jacket and pull out this Celtics jersey. I'm there's no way he just did this. And it was just, spotlight was on you, and they mentioned you 2 or 3 times. It wasn't even a one and done thing.
I also had I don't know if I told you about this, I had a fun interaction with Brunson after it was over. I don't know if you saw, he came around the back, started signing autographs and stuff. So he gets to me, and I have a Villanova hat in my hand, and I hand it to him, can we set aside our difference? He's just staring at me. And he gives me the smirk and just snatches it and writes "Go Knicks" on the hat, and then signs his name, gives it back. Yeah, I still have the hat in my dorm. but like that's something I'll like never forget. Like really, really cool.
Awesome. So to close, inspired by the two guys that created the Roommate Show, we want to ask what we're going to call our golden question to every guest. If you could be dorm mates with one person in the world, who would it be and why?
I'm tempted not to give a conventional answer because I'll give a shout out to him. Obviously, my boy right now, my roommate, Liam Gluck, track team. It's my boy. Obviously, great guy to room with, and obviously my girlfriend, love her. Obviously, I would want to room with both of those people. But if I had to give a non-conventional answer, like I want to say Gronk, but at the same time, like our house is gonna be trash if I room with Gronk. But again, like if I also room with Brady, like he's gonna be like slapping me at 6 a.m. like telling me to get up, go for a 10-mile, like on some David Goggins routine. I want to find a good balance. Honestly, I think I need it. I'm gonna go with Tom Brady, and he's my favorite athlete of all time. I mean, I can't turn down the GOAT. So that's gonna be my answer for episode 1. Tom Brady, the GOAT dorm mate, the GOAT football player.